So tired, bro. So tired. It's absurd. I've been thinking about this guy I used to know in high school. It was like, a good friend. Probably one of my, well, I had a couple of good friends, but I've lost most of them by now. I haven't been in contact with them for like, since late 2021. And I'm like, I might have seen him in profile picture of another person I got friend recommended to, which is really interesting. But I can't tell because, when people get older, they look different. They change and shit. I don't know. It's fucking depressing comparing myself to people I went to. Like, I don't want to be like self-pitying and shit, but it's like, it's just a reality, you know? That, you go to school with these people. I gotta fucking bottom my chat, bro. This is moderator, right? What was I saying? Yeah, when you got like chronic illness, you watch the people you went to school with, and I went to school with them before I got sick, right? You watch the people you went to school with go, maybe up and down, but generally on the up. They got jobs. Like they put effort in and their life gets better, basically. Or they have experiences, they have a life. They go do their university or their trades or whatever. They I'm so mentally fatigued. It's like it's sore, it's like pressure on my head. Tiredness. They get a job, get girlfriends, they learn to drive. And for me, it's like I've got none of these things, and then the psychiatrist says, "Oh, it's because you're mentally ill," and it's like, no, it's actually not. It's not. That's not the reason why. It's because I'm actually physically sick, and that has effects on everything. It's because I've got ME/CFS, which is obviously what I've got. It's not because of some mental illness diagnosis. Like, people with mental illness don't have these issues. They go on and they do all these things. It doesn't stop them from driving. They get girlfriends, they get jobs. Anyway. Is this mic working? Yeah, I guess so. Working enough, I guess. Kind of quiet though. It's only getting to about mid-range. Fortnite's gonna be shut, but I've got no other games to play at the moment. Sick of GTA, sick of Gary's mod, too childish. GTA is too toxic and too lame, and I hate it. TF2, sick of it, sick of the community. Last time I knew this guy was kind of alt-right, and that really put me off, like, reconnecting with him, because I feel like alt-right stuff is a lot of, like, People kind of fall into it and then they never get out of it. I don't know of anyone who's gotten out of that shit, bro. Like, seriously. It doesn't appeal to me at all because I think it's stupid, but it clearly has an appeal to a lot of people. And, yeah. The game's up, right? This isn't one of those update nights, because that's a really low number of people playing. I don't know. Maybe he's changed. You never hear from these people. No one ever messages me. Well, actually, that's not true. Sometimes people have, but for one reason or another, I haven't wanted to reconnect, I guess. The people I've messaged to reconnect with generally haven't been receptive though, which is unfortunate. Kind of did some stupid stuff sometimes, and I don't know. It's weird because, I mean, like, obviously, it goes without, it is as it is that these people go on to continue to live fucking lives and shit. Like, obviously, if they're not dead, then they're out there living a life doing something, right? They're all so lucky, bro. I'd trade my life for anyone's pretty much. I can't imagine it being much worse than this in terms of, like, how limited it is. All I've got is, like, free time, which is worthless because I can't really do anything with it. It doesn't mean the same thing. My free time is, like, kind of worthless. And I've got, like, I guess you could call it a reasonable standard of living, but not really because I live at my parents' house. And, while I'm not super poor, that's kind of it. I'm not super poor, but if I moved out, I would be probably struggling a lot. Probably struggling a lot. I already struggle day to day. But I'd be struggling financially then. Because I can't work and only get... It's not even full 15. You know, I used to think I round it to full 15. It's like 4, 14, and 10. It can't even give me a nice clean number. It's 4, 14, and 10. And I think a small amount of that is like some disability allowance thing, which is supposed to cover some medication. I don't even know. It's so low. It's so low. It's like nobody gives a shit, you know? Nobody cares. This could happen to anyone. It could happen to anyone. You could get into a car accident and suffer a brain injury. That and fucking hell, this game just doesn't work, bro. Oh well. Oh well. It's fine. No, it's not. It's not fine, but whatever. I don't understand. Why does it put itself on, like, max graphics? It's on performance mode. Maybe if I turn off the Nvidia thing, it'll run better. Is that something? I'm sure I used to be able to run this better in the past, right? I've been having so many bad games off stream, it's insane. Come on, you bastard. That's gotta be a bot. I think, like, I'd rather be a healthy person than a sick person. That's not controversial at all, but, like, the lengths to which I would go to be not having ME/CFS is quite significant. Like, I would probably rather be, like, a poor refugee. And that sounds meaningless because you can say, oh, well, you don't know what it's like. And that's true, I don't. But I feel like at least they've got a chance, right? At least you got a chance of a relatively normal life. If you get away from the conflict, you know, would I rather be like a normal person in Iran? Yes. Venezuela? Yes. Seriously, it's like, that's not even a question for me. Having ME/CFS, it makes, like, living in a wealthy country where you got all this opportunity it's worthless. Absolutely worthless. Bro, where is this? Absolutely worthless. It provides me with so little difference. There is really not much difference at all. I'm probably gonna end up being banned off of Twitch and YouTube and stuff for all my controversial views. I guarantee it, bro. Guarantee it, because I just can't keep, oh, you being Islamophobic and you being anti-immigrant, and that's what they're gonna say. Asmon Gold says Palestinians deserve being killed because their culture is bad. I mean, that's nowhere near anything I've said, right? Surely, he's a big streamer, though. I'll move to Cake, and I'll try uploading to a different site. Oh my god, bro. There's a guy right there. I would... yeah. That was really predictable. Like, the thing about being, like, a poor refugee or being from, like, Somalia in a really bad situation, right? You've got a chance, though. That's the thing. It's not like an inevitability. It's not like it'll never change. Maybe it's not a high chance, but you've got a chance. The difference between that and having ME/CFS is you don't have a chance. You've got no chance, actually. It doesn't get better. You won't live a better life. You won't have, a high quality existence unless you are extremely wealthy and can afford to, I don't know, like, somehow pay for it. I don't even know how you would do that, but assumedly you can pay for it somehow. If you can't provide them, like, I live in a wealthy country. I have all these opportunities. My parents are pretty well off, even though they don't just give me money, but they say things like, oh, if you want to go to university, we can help you out. I've got savings. I don't even need help. I could pay for it myself, But I can't do any of those things because of sickness. It prevents me. So it's like I don't even have the chance. Even people in poor countries, even refugees, if you give them the opportunity, they can take it. That's kind of the major difference. The thing is, they're deprived, but if you give them the opportunity, they can take that opportunity and they can actually do the thing that the opportunity provides and then possibly get the reward that the opportunity leads to, right? The difference between that and me is you can give me all these opportunities that other people could have and take and make use of, and I can't do anything with it. I can't do anything with it. I can't make use of the opportunity because sickness prevents me from being able to. I'm not able. It's a disability, right? Just doesn't look like it because you can't see it, but it's still there, and it's very obvious to the people that suffer under it because they can feel the effects when they go too far, when they try to push through it. It just gets worse and worse and worse. I don't know if it's probably been too long. I pushed through, since I've strained, so I haven't said it. I pushed through designing a website. I was exercising a bunch, had to stop doing all that exercising. I've limited it to steps now, to walking. I pushed through this designing, making a website, setting it up. I didn't even do that much. It was a couple hours stuff. But I was really pushing myself mentally, and I just fucking crashed into this collapsed, degenerated, destroyed mental fatigue state. And now I've been suffering with worsened mental fatigue, like, all the time since then. So, that's every day since then. It's been worse than, like, for years previous. That's what it's like. I forgot. I thought, oh, I'm kind of over it, right? It's like, not over it, but I thought, like, oh, it hasn't happened in years. It's not going to happen again. I just haven't pushed myself in years, right? I'm just very, casual mentally. All I can do is casual. Super casual. I can't push through it. If I push through it, I get bad mental fatigue. What happened? I pushed through it. I got really bad mental fatigue. I had a fucking, what you would say, it's called a crash. When it gets really bad, and it's like severe and constant, and it lasts for quite a long time, and then after, you got lasting effects. That's like crashing. That's what crashing is. I had so much potential, bro. I was known as like a smart guy in school. I was like a smart guy, good student in the classes I put effort into that I was good at. One of the top computer science students, one of the top Spanish students, pretty good English student. I was really good at comprehension. Um, Not so much in STEM, but, can't always be good at everything. I just never was the best, but what a disappointment, right? What a loss. And then this like collapse, and it just gets worse all the time. Maybe it would be good to reconnect with this guy. I mean, ChatGPT kind of said no, you shouldn't if he's like alt-right and shit, but I mean, he was one of the better people I've met throughout my life, to be honest. Not perfect, okay? But definitely, oh, this isn't reloaded. Game's actually not running that badly. What the fuck? Okay. Why do we have a group kill thing? What is... If you look here, what is that? What is that? I'm playing in solos. What the fuck? Stupid as hell, bro. So many kids around these days because it's still school holidays for some. Being a kid is when you should be indoors playing computer games all the time. That's what I say. That's what I did when I was a kid. I just played computer games all the time. I wasn't allowed to go outside. I was under the impression that you weren't allowed to go outside or go anywhere, so I never did. When I was a kid, I didn't go anywhere, bro. I went out one time with my friends and I didn't tell my parents because it was kind of like I was winging it. And I got home a bit late. My mother was like gone insane. She like called up the school and she was like screaming, crying type shit. It was fucking crazy. And that was basically emphasized never do this shit again. I never did. Even when I was 17, I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't go anywhere. I, well, I was starting to. I was biking, actually. At the end of the year, I was biking by myself, biking around. But I was just getting into it, bro. I was like, my life was just starting and I was figuring it out, you know? Had to collapse, had to fall apart so quickly. Third party, fuck off. Oh my god. Apparently they don't do permanent bans on Twitch anymore though, which is quite good. For me. I'm just giving opinions, it's not like I'm showing nudity or anything. Although, that's not to say that I agree with their policy on that. I think if you should let people make R18 accounts and have nudity on them, I think that's absolutely fair. I don't understand why they don't do that. It's an advertising thing or something. Just fucking bullshit. It's like with these payment processes in Steam, are they like stopping games from being allowed? And it's like, oh, but the stuff in them is so bad. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter how bad it is. If it's not illegal and it's fiction, I don't really see any reason why they should be preventing these things from, like, being allowed to exist or sold. It's quite stupid. And they go like, oh, so now, like, you have to either give your game away for free and then make no money on it, or it's not allowed to be sold at all whatsoever. Like, fuck that shit. That's bullshit. Let me run. Why isn't he running? Why does he stop? I don't take my finger off the W ever and he just stops. That's so stupid. Oh, there's Idiot. Why is he trying to snipe me, bro? Ah. Fuck that bullshit, bro. Fucking roughed. And it disappears. The single use? What? The original rifts lasted for like ages, right? They were permanent. I'm sure they were. Fair play. It's bullshit, but I mean, it's in the game, isn't it? That's Epic's fault. Fuck Epic, bro. So much stupid bullshit. The fuck? How am I missing every single shot, bro? Maybe I'm praying on you tonight. It's crazy to think. I used to have a life, bro, you know? I used to live like other people do. And it was great. It was perfect. I'm not even lying. I thought my life was perfect. I didn't want anything to change. Right? Oh, for fuck's sake, when that happened, the game ended, my mouse moved and fucking rearranged, resized one of my Twitch OBS things. So annoying. Why would it do that? Sounds absurd, but like, I thought my life was great, and it was. It was very good. I had basically everything I wanted. I was very satisfied, very fulfilled, and I was working on making it even better. That was peak. You know? Couldn't have asked for more. And it collapsed in, not very long. Collapsed, what, I can actually say how long. It collapsed in like a month. Went from perfect to terrible in a month. I mean, looking back, it wasn't perfect, but it felt perfect at the time, you know? I wasn't into a bunch of bullshit like metaphysics and all that, but kind of wasn't relevant because I was working on improving my life regardless in material ways, so I was kind of doing the right things anyway. It's funny how people can be so wrong yet so successful. Like, I see this all the time. Like, you have, like, religious people who are extremely successful. And they'll even talk about the religion and shit. And it's like, yeah, that's not the reason why. They're not related to each other, okay? I was a fucking idiot. I was a metaphysics retard. I was into, like, fucking, you know, all this Zen shit, which is fucking retarded. I know now that it's like complete bullshit, but that stuff was very appealing to me when I was younger. This, you know, world beyond the material, right? And you know, because there's no, you keep doing well, and so it's like it's rewarding the failure essentially, right? Rewarding you. You think, oh well, it must be right because I'm doing so well, right? Of course, it fails and collapses, and then you realize, oh right, bullshit, bullshit. There isn't actually anything else. There's nothing else. There is the material and nothing else. That's what people need to realize. Oh, wasted on. Look at this idiot. What do you think you're doing, bro? Fuck that shit. Why did it turn into a fucking platform instead of just deploying on the ground, bro? And where did this retard come from that he was fucking flying but he had guns? What? He also killed me for absolutely no reason. I didn't have anything. He's just a piece of shit. Fuck off. Fucking loser. And he's using a free battle pass. Back blank. Average person doesn't know how easy they have it, bro. Seriously. This is like dehumanizing to the whatever nth degree. It's like super dehumanizing. That's why I put subhuman degenerate on my fucking Twitter profile, because it's like, that's it, bro. It's ironic. Yeah, I put it there ironically, but it's not really ironic, actually. It's kind of just true. If the average person is a human being, I'm well below the average. I think it's virtually to the point of subhumanness. I don't really see myself as a total human being, to be honest. I'm a thing that is many degrees removed from that. In terms of the average, I'm many degrees removed from the average. That's what I meant to say. Why is my hat so far over? It's actually uncomfortable to wear if it's in the right direction. I mean, I find it hard to recognize the humanity of like people who are extremely stupid, or just very stupid, or even moderately stupid. So to infer or to like position that like somehow I'm not for having this extremely deprived life is just as absurd. I think it would be a massive double standard. I'm obviously not the... Technically, I'm a human being, but I don't think I meet the standard of proper person. To be honest, I don't walk... I can't walk. I can't do many things. You know, it's a question of like, is this a person, is this a human being, or is this a thing? I think I kind of lean towards thing. Can't lie, it's just kind of true. I kind of lean towards thing. I'm kind of just a thing that exists. Doesn't really have a point. Just kind of is what it is. Those dual shotguns are so dog shit, bro. I merely exist. I mean, it's just like stupid people to me are like, I can hardly recognize their proper humanity. It's very hard for me to do so. I don't know. It just is. When someone is such an idiot, it's like I can't really see them as a proper, fully developed person. It's like how you look at a child. A child a person? I would say a child is a child. I don't know if you can compare a child to a fully developed person, honestly. And I don't really understand why society puts more emphasis on children either. They're known to be less developed than adults are, and yet we don't consider adults to be essentially more valuable than they are. You do the opposite. You say the child is more valuable because the child. Oh, why? And why is the child more valuable? Tell me. Because the child will become an adult one day. Okay, so why are we not? Why are we not like valuing the actual adults equal or more than then? Why are we valuing the thing that will one day become another thing equally or less than that other thing that already is that? Why are we valuing the child equal or more than the adult only for the fact that the child will become an adult one day? It makes no sense. Makes no sense. So because it's got more years to live or like some bullshit like that. That's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid. Or like a baby, which I find even more absurd. Like it's not even conscious. Most babies aren't even fucking conscious, bro. They're not even like mentally aware of the situation they're in. Like consciousness doesn't develop until they're like a couple years old. Seriously. Is that not the case? People don't become conscious until they are like at least a year or so old. The baby's not even fucking conscious, bro. Why would it be? It's got no reason to be. Its parents do everything for it. And we act like, oh, these are the most important things, and women are important because women make the babies. Fuck off. I hate that shit, bro. It's so absurd. How about like the men are important because they do all the hard work in society and create the most value, right? Aside from birthing children and raising them. How about we value the men? No, because the men are the least valuable because they're expendable. You know, they're disposable and shit. They're like soldiers. You can just throw them at an issue and waste them like that, right? That's what people honestly believe. The men are expendable. Men are not. This is a thing. You can look it up. It's a known issue on Wikipedia. There's a page about it on Wikipedia. Men are seen as disposable by society, and women and children are not. Women and children are valued. And women and children are seen as things to be protected, whilst men are things to be used and then disposed of. Conveniently also do all the hard work in society except for birthing and raising kids. And also tend to create the most value in a market system. But no, let's put women and children first. Why? How does that even make any sense? Right? You say, oh well, the children are defenseless. Okay, the women aren't. Women are fully formed adults. They can take care of themselves, right? Apparently not. Apparently not. I find it funny as well. It's like being a white male who's essentially straight. I'm pretty sure I'm straight. Straight white male with chronic illness is really funny because people blame your group of people and society for everything, the straight white male group. And you are seen as, on the surface level, like the least deserving of any kind of help. Blah, blah, blah. And then combine that with chronic illness, which is like the worst off group in society. By far. Aside from like being poor, yet it usually leads to poverty anyway. Right? Yeah, but they don't go, oh, actually, we shouldn't have said those things. Oh, actually, we're gonna treat you better now. No, they get suspicious and they go, oh, but how could a straight white male have chronic illness and disabling issues? How could a straight white male be like that? You know? Especially if it's not visible. They think you're, trying to manipulate people, which is ironic because why would a straight white male want or have to do that if you're so privileged in society? Why would you need to manipulate people, right? Fucking stupid. I've literally had people from the fucking support group for the sickness I've got. So, oh, are you sure you've got it? And it's not because there's a legitimate reason to do that. It's because they don't believe it because I'm a white male, right? Especially because I'm a young male, right? And most of the people who have the sickness are old and female. And so they don't believe that a young male can possibly have it, which is absurd because anyone can get it. Anyone can get it, and I've got the symptoms, and they're like, oh no, actually, we don't think so. You know who said we don't think so? People who don't even have it. What kind of group is run by people? What kind of chronic illness group is run by people who don't have the sickness? Seriously, it's absurd. It's absurd. Isn't like one of the fundamentals of sickness and disability, like studies and stuff, like all of that, the people who run these things and who manage these organizations are supposed to actually have the sickness? Isn't that a really important factor? Fucking stupid, bro, I swear. It's fucking bullshit, honestly. And again, it's like people won't believe you. They don't believe you. If I tell someone, oh, I've got ME/CFS, therefore, like I'm sick and shit, they don't believe you. They don't believe you at all. They say, oh well, you look fine, and you're a young male, so you should be physically able. Which is just prejudice. It's just prejudice. It's just another form of looking at someone and deciding things about them based off of the way that they look, right? Like how the vast majority of people see you as a young white male and they immediately think you must be a right winger. This is extremely common. They immediately think you must be a right winger, or if you're not a right winger and you don't claim to be one, or you claim to be something else, like on the left, they think, oh, well, you must be doing it to manipulate people. You must be, you know, you must be secretly right wing. Why the fuck does it stop? It's so annoying. You must be secretly right wing then. That's what they think. Do women face the same scrutiny? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why is this issue? Why do these issues exist? Why do all of these issues exist? Because people are fucking stupid, that's why. Because people are fucking stupid. That's why all of these issues exist. Because people are fucking stupid. It's like Machiavelli on human nature. People see what is like superficial and obvious. And if it's not superficial and obvious, then they probably aren't going to believe you. Why is this follower bot still there? I fucking hate this stupid ass society, bro. It's insane. Having to navigate all the bullshit that only exists because people are fucking retarded. People are so stupid. Most people are fucking stupid. A bunch of people are like retarded. Almost no one is smart. And that's something that you learn as you get older. Almost nobody is smart. Like, people who are smart are very rare. Very rare. Just reasonable, not stupid people. It's not common. It's unfortunately very uncommon. Most people, as Machiavelli says, judge based on these superficial, you see. That's fucking crazy, bro. Must have had full health or something. People judge based on, like, superficial appearance, and that's it. They don't know. They don't know and they don't get it, and you explain it to them, and they refuse the explanation. It's typically how it goes. Like, a lot of these people will hear, like, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, you're on welfare. Oh, you should get a job. But they don't want an explanation as to, like, why you haven't done that. Obviously, I would like the more money that getting a job does. I can't do it, right? These people don't want an explanation. Most people, they don't actually want to hear, like, the reasons why something is the way it is. They just want that thing to be different. And they don't care why it is the way it is. They just want it to not be that way, essentially. Right? My tax money. Yeah, your tax money. It's not your tax money, actually. It's the government's money. And the government chooses to spend money on welfare so that people don't start protesting. That's why they do that. Because imagine if there was no welfare. It's like, why would I not just fucking join a gang or something to make an income? Because I'm not gonna make it anywhere else, am I? I'm gonna be either having to ask my parents for money constantly, or I'm gonna be homeless on the street fucking begging or something, you know? Oh, but you know what? They hate beggars as well. It's like, what the fuck? What do you expect people to do if they can't work? This is like these brain dead fucking people can't understand that actually some people can't work. Some people can't do a fucking job and get paid for it. Okay? Some people can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do a job and get paid for it. I can't turn up somewhere every day. I can't even basically go anywhere. Even if I could, even if say it's remote work, let's think about the ideal situation which absolutely does not exist. Even if it's remote, right? I can't do strenuous mental work. I can't do strenuous physical labor. What am I supposed to do? What do people honestly think I'm going to be doing, right? Also, like, oh, you'll figure something out. No, actually, I won't figure something out, and I'll starve to death, right? I'll have no money, and I'll starve. That's what'll happen. Oh, you piece of shit. Why does it just stop running randomly? I don't understand. It runs out of stamina, and then he just stops moving instead of switching to walking. It's fucking crazy. Bro, why are there so many bots around this area? So people don't want the reason why. If you tell them I can't work because of chronic illness, they don't believe it. If you're in a wheelchair and you tell someone I can't run because I've got no legs, even the stupidest fucking person on earth can usually get that, right? But virtually no one seems to be able to understand I can't walk because of sickness. Why can't people understand this shit? They're retarded or something. Retarded. They don't get it. I don't even tell people like, oh, because I'm sick. I just tell people, I'm not walking right now. Because it's easier than trying to explain to them, you know, a bunch of people are not going to fucking understand. That's just the reality. That is the unfortunate reality of living with fucking stupid people in real life. They don't understand. They don't understand at all. They don't even seem to want to understand. I don't get it how you could be this stupid. Right? Because they've never, apparently to these people, because they haven't experienced it, because in order to understand, they would have to actually feel what it's like. You can't just tell them this is how it is and they'll believe you. They think you're lying to them or something. They think, oh no, you must be lying because that just doesn't make sense to me. And how could someone not be able to get a job? Everyone can get a job. That's what they say. Well, no, that's literally just not true. It's literally just not true. Like, it's just false information. Right? To them, it's as simple as, oh, well, you look fine, so you should be able to do this. And the reality is, just because someone looks a certain way doesn't mean that they're going to be healthy, right? You're not. I swear people are like, oh, if you're not bald, you haven't got cancer or something. Like, this is how these people think. You know, like, because people lose their hair when they get chemotherapy. I swear people are like, oh, if you don't go bald, you don't actually have cancer and you're not actually dying, right? The people are just fucking retarded or something. I don't get it. How can you be this stupid? But so many people are. Like, when people ask me, oh, so you're not walking, so you're walking? I say, no, I'm just at home. That's what I say. Why do I say that? Because it's easier than talking to them about sickness and they won't fucking get it. Because they never do. They virtually never do. Best I can get is people who just sort of agree and then move on. That's the best I've gotten from people, really. It's never understanding. I haven't even got proper understanding from, like, the people at the support organization, which is fucking crazy because the people who run it didn't actually have the sickness. Did a whole fucking interrogation thing of me based on, like, oh, we'll help you out with something else, which they didn't actually do because they decided they weren't able to. They asked me all these fucking questions. It's like, what is this, a fucking cult or something? Seriously. Coercive organization's what it was. Very cliquey as well, right? It's the unfortunate sort of feeling I get from many organizations which are heavily female. They have this cliquiness to them. The Green Party's got it. They have this super cliquiness of, like, everyone agrees with each other. Nobody questions the people at the top. And they're very predatory and cult-like. No, bro, you're not doing that. Oh, fucking hell. How do I run out of ammo? I fired like 3 shots. I fired like 3 shots and it ran out. That's insane. Was it not reloaded? It didn't tell me it wasn't. Stupid bullshit. They need to remove that fucking laser weapon. It's too good. It beats literally, like, virtually everything. Beats basically everything. Way too good. Like, the most common fucking thing is that, like, the least people can do is think that you're mentally ill, right? That is, like, the most common fucking occurrence, basically. Is they think you're mentally ill, like you're faking it. Like, oh, you must be faking it, right? Jesus Christ, why is this game so resource intense? resource intensive. Uses up so much resource. So many resources. How is being mentally ill like the best people can do? That's the best thing that they can come up with. Right? Oh, you mentally ill. That is the most comfortable explanation for these people. Right? That is what the first thing they come up with is, oh, you mentally ill. And then even if you were to say you were mentally ill, they'd say, oh, you're faking it. What do they actually want? They just want to blame the person for their issues. And apparently that's going to make them feel good about themselves. This makes the people feel good, is to blame others for like having a low quality of life and shit. You know? Like, people, you say to people, oh, I don't walk because I got sickness, and they'll say, like, are you just lazy and mentally ill? The fuck? Oh well. I was busy. You tell people you don't want to walk. You know that. You tell people you don't walk because of chronic illness, and they think you're mentally ill, lazy, just want to get free money and don't want to walk, / you manipulating the system. This isn't like a straw man type thing, or whatever you call it. This is I've been told these exact things. The psychiatrist says I'm mentally ill, right? That's supposed to be a medical professional, and every psychiatrist I've seen has said, oh, you're just mentally ill. Why do they say that? Because they don't believe that ME/CFS is a real sickness. They think it's a mental illness. They think that the symptoms of ME/CFS are just mental illness. Literally. They think it's just schizophrenia, apparently. They think it's delusions that come from schizophrenia. That is exactly what these psychiatrists have said to me is we don't think you're actually physically sick. We don't think ME/CFS exists. What you have is just side effects of delusional schizophrenia. That's what they've said to me, right? It's the difference between like being willing and being able. They don't think you have a disability, right? They think you just don't want to. And it seems like the entire point is shift it from society's responsibility to your personal fault. And fixing it and resolving it. These are people who have like extremely easy lives, by the way. Extremely easy lives in comparison. And they want to sit there and say, oh, actually, someone who has it really hard deserves to suffer even worse. You know, someone who has it way, way harder than they ever will their entire lives until they die, likely, deserves to suffer even worse. Just to make these people feel better, essentially. That's essentially what you're saying, right? That's essentially how they think about things. They think that these sick people, these people with chronic illness, should have to suffer even worse because they don't believe that it exists. Simply for that. Doctors believe it exists, right? Actual doctors who practice, proper medicine, not psychiatry, believe it exists. They know it exists. People who have it know it exists, right? The people who say that it doesn't exist are people who don't have it, and people who don't deal with actual medicine. Because medicine says it exists, science says it exists. These people just refuse all of that and say, oh, well, I don't think it does, so it shouldn't. Right? My parents don't think it exists, which is insane because I can see all of it. They've been around the entire time and they don't think it exists. Because they can't be bothered doing the bare minimum research and want it to be a mental illness because then they're absolved of any blame or any wrongdoing. They're absolved of any wrongdoing because they can just say, oh, it's a mental illness. Everything is your fault, right? The point is to blame the individual and then it's no one else's responsibility. What they say is essentially, what they say essentially is the sickness doesn't exist, and if it does, it's still your fault and your own responsibility to deal with it. This is literally how the psychiatrists I've been with, this is what they think. Somehow, ME/CFS doesn't exist, but even if it does, even if I do suffer from it, it's my fault, and I have to deal with it personally, right? Which is funny because they've diagnosed me with mental illness, which they then don't go on to actually do anything to help me at all whatsoever in my life. At all whatsoever. They don't help me out at all whatsoever. Whatso fucking ever. They help me out 0%. They actually make my life worse with this terrible fucking medication that they put me on that ruins my health. It is measurably, you can measure it. It's ruining my health, making me gain massive amounts of weight, giving me other side effects related to that, fucking up my thinking, fucking up my head, fucking up my memory, all this other stuff. This is what the psychiatrist thinks. It doesn't exist, and if it does, it's your fault and your responsibility to deal with it. They won't help you. These people are considered medical professionals, and they're not. Psychiatry is not a science. It's a pseudoscience. Doctors don't believe this. Right? Actual fucking medical doctors don't believe that ME/CFS doesn't exist. They think it does exist, as any reasonable person who actually does research would. Right? Yeah, they literally just lie all the time because they want to blame you for it and say, oh, it's all your fault, right? Which is, that's what the psychiatrist says, basically. They say, even if you are sick, it's entirely your fault. That's the point of the mental illness diagnosis, is to blame me for the fucking problem. Right? That is the entire point of it. That's to say no one else did anything wrong and no one else does anything wrong, and it's always my fault, and I don't deserve any help, I don't deserve anything. That's what they say. And I'm just a bad person in their view. This is literally what the psychiatrists think. This is how the psychiatrist rationalizes it. Is even if you're just mental, they say you're just mentally ill, and the sickness you say that you have all the symptoms for, doesn't exist, and they diagnose you with something which you don't have any symptoms for. They say your real sickness doesn't exist. Bullshit, I should have used that from the start. Yeah, my parents love the mental illness diagnosis because it means that they've done nothing wrong. Nothing wrong, they've done everything right, and it's entirely my fault. And they can't do anything wrong because I'm just mentally ill. That's what they say, right? It also means that the psychiatrist doesn't do anything wrong because they can just call the person mentally ill and be done with it. You have basically no rights. That's the reality. Once you get diagnosed with mental illness, they're allowed to do basically whatever they like to you. Right? And, oh, my life's not getting better. They don't care. They don't care. Oh, this is fucking awful. They don't care. Why would they care? You tell them all the terrible side effects you have with the medication, and all they do is suggest you another one which also has terrible side effects, because they all do the same things, basically. If you don't react well to medications that fuck with your head, which is most people, they don't have an alternative. They will only give you other medications that do the same thing and fuck up your head. And when you say it doesn't, it makes me feel worse in every way, and no, it doesn't fix anything because you're not even treating a sickness that I have, which I can't say even exists. As far as I'm aware, what they call schizophrenia doesn't even exist because they've diagnosed me with it and I've got no symptoms for it. I've got chronic fatigue syndrome. I've got ME/CFS. I don't have delusional schizophrenia. As far as I'm aware, that doesn't exist because they can literally just diagnose you based off of basically nothing. How can you confuse the two for each other? Because literally anything can be made out to be a delusion. They can call literally anything a delusional belief. Anything. How are religious people not delusional schizophrenics then? How are they not schizophrenic? How is everyone not schizophrenic? It's insane. I have done nothing for them to actually honestly believe that that's the case, but they have pushed for it simply because I've got chronic fatigue syndrome, ME/CFS, and they want a simple, easy, nice solution. They've fixed fucking nothing. And you know what's insane? Is literally everyone that believes that shit thinks that I'm living the life I am now because I want to live like this, not because I'm forced to by sickness. They don't believe that the sickness exists, so they think I'm just living like this because this is how I want to live. It's insane. They literally think I want to be living like this. They think I want to live at my parents' house, want to be unable to drive, want to be unable to do all the things that I want to do, that I just want to not do any of that stuff. Right? It's actually insane. These people are so fucked in the head. They are so retarded and so brain dead. It's insane. How could you be this fucking stupid? How could you get it this badly fucked up? It's insane. It's actually insane. It's unbelievable. How could you get it this bad? How could you go this far in the wrong direction? Literally, it's unbelievable. How can you misdiagnose chronic fatigue syndrome as schizophrenia? It's insane. It's actually insane. And they misdiagnose autistic people as schizophrenic as well. It's like, how do you even do that? How is it so easy to misdiagnose people who don't have it with schizophrenia? That is one of the worst conditions you can diagnose someone with. It's known to be very severe, and what you're allowed to do someone then after is also severe. The drugs you put them on are severe. I don't have it. I obviously don't fucking have it. Right? It's extremely obvious. I don't have any symptoms of that. I don't have any symptoms. It's complete bullshit, and they know it's bullshit, and that's why they get so upset. And I tell them it's bullshit, and they just get upset and go and become all sad and upset. And they, oh, we're trying to help you. No, you're not. How are you helping me? You're giving me drugs that make my life massively worse, ruining it, and you're not actually helping me in any regard at all whatsoever otherwise. And they say, oh, that's being helpful. How the fuck is that helpful? They think I'm choosing. It's insane that they think that I'm choosing to live like this, like someone with no legs chooses not to walk. How fucking retarded can you be, honestly? How fucking retarded can you be? You have to be actually like fucking brain dead to make the connection that someone who there's no difference between someone who wants to live a certain way and someone who lives like that because they're not able to do otherwise. It's actually fucking insane. It is literally the case that they blame you. This is how it goes. They diagnose you with a mental illness, and then they blame you for essentially not doing well. They blame you. Oh, you have a bad life because you're just bad, and you just choose to live like that. You choose to live like that, and the medication doesn't work because you don't want it to, not because it's not actually treating anything, because it's not able to, because there is no fucking treatment for chronic fatigue syndrome. It's actually insane. Which is obviously the case that this is not it. Obviously. And that's exactly the term that they've used, is shows complete lack of insight in his condition. No, I don't lack insight. I understand completely that I don't fucking have it because I know what the symptoms are and I know that I don't deal with them. Why would I lie? Why would I say, oh no, I don't have it if I actually did? Why would I do that? They think I'm being difficult. It's insane. They literally think, these fucked in the head psychiatrists actually think that we're playing a fucking game and I'm just playing a game with them and pretending like, oh, I'm just pretending that I don't have the symptoms that they say that I do, which they can't actually justify. They can't actually give evidence that, aside from a very short period where I was like extremely sleep deprived, severely stressed, aside from like a week, they don't have any evidence that that's ever been the case. Even the first time when I actually got diagnosed, there was nothing for them to make that basis off of, except that I had ME/CFS and I was in a crash, and I was dealing with it accordingly, by like having the lights off and lying in bed most of the time. Then my parents go, "Oh, you're mentally ill. We got to take you to a psychiatrist." It's insane, insane. It does make it worse. Hasn't run out of tools though, that's the thing. It's been forced. This is a forced outcome. They choose the outcome, which is you get diagnosed as mentally ill, and then they force it. That's what they do. They force the outcome. They find someone they want to be diagnosed, and then they force the diagnosis onto them, which they're able to do because you can clearly see that the person is sick. Obviously, the person is sick because they've got chronic fatigue syndrome, and then they diagnose them with mental illness so that they can get more control over the person. It's fucking insane. It doesn't matter because there's now a legal thing, which means I can't do anything about it. Why would I accept it? I'm never going to do that. The lawyer said that the courts don't like to hear about symptoms, honestly. That's what the lawyer said. The lawyer said, oh, the court's not actually for talking about side effects, that's for talking to the psychiatrist, who will never negotiate. They will literally never. The one thing that they will never do is allow me to go off of the medication that fucks up my health so much. They will never allow that. It's insane. That will never be allowed. That's what they say. Nothing ends it. People are on these orders for decades. Literally decades, and they never get off them. The judge goes, oh, well, you're staying out of the mental hospital, so actually the medication's a good thing. Oh, you know why I got sent there in the first place? Because my parents wanted me to be. That's both times. Every time I've been sent to the mental hospital is because my parents have asked them to do that. Literally. How was that a positive? And if they asked again at any point in time, they would go and do it. They would do that, and I would be sent there again. Literally, that's how it is. Every time I've been sent there is because my parents have asked them to send me there. And if they asked again, I guarantee that I would be sent there again. No questions asked. No questions asked any other time either. Didn't matter. They could say anything, and I get dragged away regardless. Literally. Which is absurd that you can just be in conflict with them. And now, I got into an argument with my father one time, and he literally goes, "Oh, if you keep doing that, we're going to send you back to the mental hospital." That's literally what he said. He said, "Oh, if you keep arguing, he's going to send you back to the mental hospital." This is what they do. This is New Zealand society. This is what it's like. This is the reality, right? They can say that because he knows that if he asks, it'll get done. Because I've got no rights at all. No rights at all. As soon as they get you diagnosed, you're allowed to be sent back there as many times as they like. For no reason, for any reason. Especially if it's your parents. The police just turn up and drag you away. That's what they do. So police or it's someone else, they come in, they drag you away. That's what they do. You have no rights. Now what's the solution? There is no solution. There isn't one. There's no solution. This is how the country operates. This is what they do. They're allowed to turn up and drag you away for no reason. No reason. They don't need a reason. The only reason is your parents complain and they drag you away. That's literally all it takes. They could make something up. They don't even need to. It doesn't even matter. Once you get diagnosed, they can say anything. You can just say, oh, he needs to be dragged away. And they take all your rights away. And that's what they do. They drag you away. That's what they do. You have no rights. Right? They drag you away for no reason. Drag you away for no valid reason, force you onto drugs, keep you imprisoned. You know, the funny thing is they ask you the same fucking questions over and over again if they think you've got schizophrenia, and every fucking time I've said no, because it's always been no, okay? And they don't care. Why do they keep asking the fucking questions if I've always said no? Why do they keep asking them? There's no fucking sense in it. It's like a fucking joke that they do. It's supposed to be funny or something. Where they like ask you the questions as like a form of fucking like as like making fun of you basically. Right? They got to ruin your life for what? You've got no rights. This is the reality. They can take them away for no reason. And diagnosing someone with mental illness is an extremely easy way to do that. Extremely easy way to take away someone's rights is to diagnose them with mental illness. And they know that, and that's why they do it. That's why they get people diagnosed, because they want to take their rights away. Right, this is what they do. Fucking hell. Why is this so extremely laggy? Look at this shit. It's frozen. Completely frozen. What a fucking piece of shit. This exists for the purpose of coercion, right? Forcing people to do things that they otherwise don't want to do. Have I ever asked to go to the mental hospital? Have I ever wanted to go there? No. No. Only when I wasn't sleeping well at home when I'd already been sent there. That is the only reason, but have I ever actually asked to go when I was, like, doing fine or for mental health services. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have never in my fucking life requested mental health services because I have never fucking needed them. I don't want them. I don't need them. I don't need it. I don't want it. It's harmful. It's fucking harmful. It's fucking awful. Why would I ever want it or need it when it's fucking awful and I'm not mentally ill? It's insane. They tell people lies and say, like, oh, everyone needs it. Everyone no, they don't. No, they don't. Is everyone being sent to the mental hospital every fucking year or so? No. Of course they're not. Happens to basically nobody. I've been sent there 3 times, and one time was because of the side effects of a fucking medication that I was put on by the mental hospital, by the psychiatrist there. Literally. So I had to get sent back so they could take me off of the fucking medication. Which is insane. And they kept me there for like weeks again. And my parents sent me there in 2024. They kept me there for like a month and a half straight. A month and a half. They just fucking kept me there. And so for it, getting into issues with my parents, literally, was the reason. Was literally the reason was, acting out against my parents who had been fucking awful towards me. Right? That's literally the only reason why I was sent there, was for acting out against my parents. Every single time I've been sent to the mental hospital is because they've asked for me to be. That's why. They're the ones who took me to a psychiatrist in the first place, instead of recognizing that I had chronic fatigue syndrome. They took me to a psychiatrist who asked me a bunch of bullshit questions about because they thought I had an eating disorder, even though I hadn't even lost much weight and there was no evidence, absolutely no evidence to suggest that. All the fucking doctors were saying no, why would he have an eating disorder? They took me to a fucking psychiatrist to try to figure it out. I didn't really know what chronic fatigue syndrome was back then, honestly, but I knew for a fact I didn't have a fucking eating disorder. This bitch mother was obsessed with it because one of her friend's children had one. He was fucking obsessed with it, honestly. Had this disease in her mind where it's like someone has to have one. You have to have one because her friend's child had one, honestly. What a fucking joke. And so they took me to a psychiatrist who decided I was mentally ill for being sick, because psychiatrists don't believe that chronic fatigue syndrome exists in New Zealand. That's the reality. Psychiatrists in New Zealand do not believe the chronic fatigue syndrome, ME/CFS, exists. Just fucking bullshit. Is it DELT? Fuck, why is this lagging so much? Oh, because I got killed in Fortnite? No, it's just slow. What the fuck is this doing? Jesus Christ. I've been shadow banned on X. I don't get any notifications because nobody interacts with my posts these days. So I'm not allowed to. I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow. Use your getaway, bro. That's bullshit, I lied. Largely. It's entirely based on that. They don't consider anything else. My lawyer has said that to me. I've had multiple lawyers say that. They don't consider anything else. They didn't even ask me a single question the last time I went to the psychiatrist, right? It's entirely based on the last time I went to the court, I mean. It's entirely based on what the psychiatrist thinks. That is how it feels, though. That is how it is. The state is forcing me to take medication because of a false diagnosis. That's exactly how it is. Yeah, this is the thing. They don't care about the actual end effect. They don't care about the impact. They don't want to know about how it makes me sicker and makes my life worse. They don't want to hear about that. They don't even ask me a question, so I have no opportunity to speak in court because they just talk to the psychiatrist, talk to the lawyer, and then it's finished. That's what happened last time. They don't care about harm. Community law doesn't help people get out of treatment orders. I've asked them before and they specifically said that to me. Obviously not. How to use the bathroom. Forgot to unmute it. That's annoying. So I've been on mute the whole time. I had a quarter of a Danish. New Zealand psychiatrists don't believe that ME/CFS exists. It's as simple as that, and so they will continue to diagnose it as a mental condition because they can't understand why else a person would have these symptoms. This is fucking bullshit. Yeah, there's literally no appeal. You don't get to appeal it. If the judge doesn't ask you a question, you don't get to talk. There's literally no appeal. Like, how do you appeal? You can't. You have the tribunal, which has a psychiatrist on it, who's never going to believe you, a random person and a lawyer, and they're not going to believe me because they're going to look at my life and say, oh, well, you seem sick. Yeah, well, I am sick, but I'm not mentally ill. I've said that constantly for years. Ever since getting sick, I've said that. Fucking bullshit. So pointless trying to do anything, bro. Such a lost cause. I don't want to live alongside it. That's the thing. Why am I forced to? Why am I forced to live with this shit just because other people say that's the way it should be? It's insane. Like, no one else has to do this shit, but I do. For bullshit fucking reasons. I'm one of the extremely rare number of people forced to take drugs by the state. For what? For so little. For so fucking little. People do much worse and suffer much less. The consequence is significantly less bad. No one fucking gives a shit. Nobody fucking cares. It's insane. That's exactly the point. It's just to control people. It has no other purpose. Which is fucking bullshit. It's literally, they're punishing me for the purpose of saying, oh, we're fixing it. Oh, we're doing something to fix it. So I get punished so they can have this bullshit idea that they're making something better, which is a fantasy in their minds. It's not real, it doesn't exist. Fucking bullshit. I am just an object being managed. That's the reality. It's not temporary. This is going to last forever. They have people on this for 20 years and counting. 20 years. I'm only 24. And they've got me on these drugs, which they are going to force me to take forever. They will force me to take these fucking drugs forever. Forever. That's what they're going to do. No, there aren't. There are so many reasons why it would be lifelong. They want it to be lifelong. This is insanity. It's impossible to get around this. It's been years already. It's not fucking working. ME just gets worse. It doesn't get better. Don't fucking bullshit. Nothing meaningful can change, nothing meaningful has changed, and nothing meaningful will change. That's the reality. I say these things because they are true. Nothing changes in a positive way at all whatsoever. It's been years. It drags on extremely slowly because this fucking medication gives me anhedonia. I can't enjoy things. I don't enjoy anything. It's a painful life, a painful existence. It doesn't get better ever. It never gets better. It never gets better. It's always bad, always terrible. It's always painful. It's fucking awful all the time. I don't care about morals. Why would this make me feel good? That doesn't help at all. This is like you should kill yourself type sensation. That's how it feels. How does any of this help? It doesn't. There's literally no difference. You can't tell the difference. You can say, oh, it's just anhedonia. No, it's not. This is my life. This is my existence. This is what it is now. This is what it will always be. So long as I'm on this fucking medication, this is all it ever will be. It's not able to be anything else because it's physically impossible. Because of these fucking drugs. It's insanity. Which is just true. That's fucking terrible. They might as well just kill themselves. Seriously. It's just a waste of time. What a shit stream.